And like I would hope he would think about it and this would be in his mind, but I wouldn't actually know what another person is feeling at this time. You just can think that this person knows and thinking about it and stuff like that. I really want to know. And my mom did tell me she went in there and filed a fraternity test, and it just basically I can say it was a whole lot of running around with that case. It was a whole lot of things that wasn't, what can I say? We didn't have enough information to push the case. That's what I basically can say. We didn't have enough information to keep the case going. So it was a big case to me because I really wanted to find out who my father was, and for the case not to go how I was planning it. I really thought it was going to go different than what it was, but I really feel like it should have been over with because I feel like if it was anybody else, I'm not saying this because people got higher standards or people make more money than that, but it's just different because if it was anybody else that made a low income, I feel like they would have had them in there way faster than people that's wealthy. I really try not to get frustrated, basically. I really try not to think about it, I go on with my life because anything could happen, but I still gotta live for myself at the end of the day. I still gotta work and bring in income for me. I can't sit around. I gotta get up off my feet and do something. I can't wait on the world. Like I can't say, I can't wait on anybody to want to respond when they want to. It is important that I know who my biological father is, just because my mom's health, I don't know if it's coming from our family or it's coming from the other side, and that would be something I really would want to find out because in the future you don't know what could happen. And a lot of people are so quick to judge because they see somebody coming out and try to find out if the person trying to find out things, they so negative to push you down. People are just so quick to judge a person that's a low, I won't say low income, but somebody that doesn't have it, and somebody that does, they always think you coming after that person's money, or they never look at the full story and things like that. It was rough, living in Philadelphia. It was a hard city. It started to get wilder as the years went on.
Have you ever been in a situation where you were almost killed?
I have been. I wouldn't say the crossfire was for me, but it was people. It was a couple shootings that I have been around, but it wasn't for me. It wasn't intended for me or nothing like that. It's just
In the world of hip hop, where fame and money often take the spotlight, a story about Jay-Z and his possible secret son has come up again. It's making headlines and starting big debates. This isn't just about fame and luxury anymore. It's a personal story about identity, responsibility, and how past actions can have lasting effects.
And she just went back home and her life was never the same again.
I know that had to be wild for her.
Yeah.
I know that had to be an experience that your mother shouldn't even have to go through. I understand it happened, but I know that had to be something that just like you said, our head exploded, shot. It's just, I believe that no child should have to go through this. No person should have to go through this. If we have, all the tools we need to find out the truth, why is the government hiding this from us? Why they can't do it for us?
So my question for you is, on your journey as you're getting older,
yes,
where was your head at when you started to think about these things?
I was lost. But as I said, I got a strong support system. So it's like I lost it for a minute, not like kind of going crazy or anything, but I just had a lot of questions to ask myself, and I got kids, so I want to be the best father I can be for my kids, and I always want to be supportive to them, and I hate lying to them. So it's like at certain things when your kids ask, it's only you only can tell them the truth to an extent because you don't even know. So it's like this was bigger for me than any person. And my mom, with her not being here, it just fueled me to go harder. I know there's something she would want it, and something to fought for. So it's like I'm fighting for it too. It's nothing wrong with trying to find out the truth. So it just made me, lose it for a second, but I gained back and just worked and got around family and did a little camping. You know, I love going camping, fishing with my son. Um, just got back to a good space. That's it.
Okay, so how old were you then when you were told the story of how your mom met Jay-Z?
I would say, officially, probably I would say like a 10 or 11. She told me when I was like 6 who my father was, but when she fully started telling me stories, I guess when I could better understand as I got older, it was really like 10 or 11. And that's when she started telling me like, "Rod, this is your person, you know, this is your dad," and showing me little pictures that she did have of him and little clips and little videos that she had. And far as like I'm talking about.
Let's explore the claims of 31-year-old Rymir Satterthwaite, who has spent over a decade trying to prove he is the son of rap mogul Sean Carter. Better known as Jay-Z, Rymir says his mother, Wanda, was only 16 years old when she allegedly became pregnant with him after a brief encounter with the rapper. This story goes beyond a paternity dispute. It touches on power, legal battles, and the search for truth.
Music videos he had, I guess, back out back in the days, and little clips, I guess, from shows, whatever. It's just this was little. I was so young, I didn't fully understand, you know. But I watched them and I listened to my mom, and I just continued with life because I'm a kid. Like you want to hear these things, but you don't want to hear these things. So it's like I listen, but I kind of try to block it out. Blocked it out a little bit.
And did you reach a point over the years where you wanted to reach out and say hi?
Yes, as I got older, I thought that it would be a good idea to, try to have a relationship, or at least I could say I tried on my part. I did reach out. My mom signed a letter. It was, they seemed cooperative at the beginning, but then it just start going to the left, I guess. Nobody was communicating no more, and it just was all court action.
And what was the story that was told to you as to how your mom had met Jay-Z?
Basically, my mom was at a show and she was with a friend, and I guess her and her friend stayed to after the show. He was doing little signings and little autographs and stuff like that. I guess he wasn't too big, but I guess females, when the show is over, you can sign little autographs and stuff like that, talk to the people who perform. She said she went up there and with her and her friend, and they start talking. I guess wound up leaving with them. He took them to some apartment building, and they did what they did in there. Talked a little bit, had a good time, party, and I guess had sex. I can't fully talk as my mom because I'm not my mom. I'm just telling you guys what she told me. It was just, and I honestly just believe it. It's just no doubt in my mind that I believe it. My mom wouldn't just make something up like that, and it's been no challenge to say that my mom was telling no type of fraud, no type of lie. Nobody ever said anything to me. All right, well, I don't know your mom. I don't know who your mom is. This is a lie. Never got anything. So why wouldn't I believe my mom? We could have been settled this, and it only takes a conversation and some words. I'm not a hateful guy. I don't hate anyone. I'm not after nobody. I'm not trying to see no one downfall. But this is just some things that just went through court, and they just expected me to just sit there and just take what they were saying. I can't do that.
Rymir's mother, Wanda, passed away in 2019, but her story continues to cast a shadow over Jay-Z's legacy. In her affidavit, Wanda claimed she and Jay-Z had protected intercourse, but the protection failed. At the time, Jay-Z was 22 and just starting his career, while Wanda was still in high school. Her account highlights a clash between vulnerability and youth on one side and ambition and power on the other.
Jay-Z's attorney has outlined what he believes are inconsistencies in the accuser's account of what happened. Break it down for us.
Yeah, so the major pillars I would say would be location, witnesses, details, and timeline. Location being that this allegedly started off at Radio City, and according to the alleged accuser, she said that she was in the car for 20 minutes before getting to Sean Combs' house where the after party was hosted, to a large white house in a U-shaped driveway. Now, if you're from the New York area and you know where Radio City is, 20 minutes in any direction does not get you to that kind of real estate. And that's what the attorney is pointing out here. Witnesses. The accuser again says that she saw specific people at that after party, but people were saying, no, this person was touring. The witnesses, the alleged accuser's own father says, I don't remember picking her up after a 5-hour drive from Rochester to New York after this night. And then details. She's saying that she watched the show on the Jumbotron, where on the VMAs of that year, there was no Jumbotron, and the timeline as to how this all could have occurred, the attorney is saying it doesn't match up based on where people were at specific times.
I'm curious your thoughts, because Jay-Z's attorney met with select members of the media. It was a closed-door meeting. What do you make of this strategy?
Well, initially, where were we in this closed meeting? That's what my thoughts are, right? But I think it's smart because this is a situation where it's not only in the court of law, but also the court of public opinion. And I think Alex, the attorney, is really pushing back on the court of public opinion to try to help the court of law arguments, because when you look at the timeline, you look at the details, yeah, there are some inconsistencies.
And the accuser has acknowledged some inconsistencies in her story. So how often does something like this happen in a case like this?
When it comes to sexual assault or rape cases where it's he said, she said, because it's so far ago, we're talking about an incident that has allegedly happened September 7th of 2000. It comes down to just the credibility of individuals. And people have issues with memory. It makes sense. I don't remember what I did on September 7th of 2000. But when some of these inconsistencies just go...
For more than a decade, Reimer has fought to prove his connection to Jay-Z, but his efforts have been met with silence and legal obstacles. He claims that Jay-Z's legal team has done everything to avoid a paternity test, even accusing them of manipulating the legal system. Imagine spending your whole adult life searching for a truth that could redefine your identity, only to encounter closed doors and unanswered questions. That's Reimer's reality.
The idea of just like geography, timeline, a fact that a father didn't even remember this. That's where I think there's some real issues for Tony Busby and the accuser's claims.
It's got to be a big blow for the case.
I would imagine so, but these aren't legal filings. This is just maybe a precursor to that. So we have to see what Alex Spiro ends up filing in court and what the response is from the Tony Busby and the accuser and what the court decides.
When you look at the language from Jay-Z's attorney, it seems they're really trying to distance themselves from Diddy at this point. How important is that relationship between these two men?
It's everything. I mean, when I first thought about this, I thought to myself, what are all the sayings that we have just in our culture about guilt by association, show me who your friends are and I'll show you who you are, birds of a feather flock together. At this point, Sean Combs is toxic from a legal standpoint in terms of his association with all of these civil lawsuits and a federal criminal investigation. So if you're a close friend of his, especially in the period of time when these allegations existed, you're definitely going to be looked at under a microscope. And so what Alex Spiro is doing is saying, hey, yeah, they're close friends, we admit that, it's public knowledge, but that friendship stops when we get to this whole freak-off issues and sexual assault and rapes.
Trying to make that separation. Brian, thank you very much. We appreciate it and good to see you.
In a recent interview, Reimer spoke about the emotional toll this journey has taken on him. It's heartbreaking and frustrating to see Mr. Carter respond to these allegations with deflection and attacks, he said. His words resonate with many people who have faced similar struggles in their own lives. This isn't just a celebrity scandal. It's a deeply human story of longing and frustration.
Dame and Biggs, nobody saying have a problem with them then. When he took them niggas to the top, them as a team. You gotta remember, you gotta be honest. Like Jay-Z, when he first started coming out with the first CD, it's a classic and all that, but he wasn't the best rapper. He wasn't the best rapper. He was lyrical, but it wasn't like the best rap. Like it wasn't like, but it was that push and that drive behind him. I mean, Jay-Z didn't even catch on with his first album, really. I mean, so if a person believes in you and going out there fighting for you in your behalf, they owe a certain amount of respect, I think. I mean, so like but the thing is that Jay-Z don't want nobody to get money. So like, it's not a secret. Look at him. What about a Mill? I heard a Mill was working somewhere, whatever. I'm like, yo, if a girl that was a rapper on my label and I got $1 billion, she ain't gotta worry about nothing ever. Period. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, you and the Mill should start.
Huh?
You and the Mill should start a podcast together.
I don't even know her. I mean, I know who she is, but it just popped in my head. There's this fact that she was the Rockefeller, female Rockefeller, right? She should be rich because she's a reflection of you. Period. Like, I mean, I'm over here in this $150,000 million house. She over there struggling. Bro, see, I'm more mindful than that. So they might look at me as I'm a bad person, I talk shit, but I'm mindful. I would never have that, let that be. Whatever she need, or to get her that, it will make you feel better, plus it'll look good for you doing it. You so much of a Scrooge McDuck, you don't even want to do that. Like, what the fuck? She's a lady. Like, you feel what I'm saying? It's nothing to get her a car and a house and some money every month. Even if you say, somebody will give you some money for 5 years, but like, then after that, you mean, or give her a job. I mean, it's just, to me, it's like easiest 1, 2, 3. But for everybody else, like, well, he don't got to do this, he don't got to do that. No, you don't got to do it, but like, ain't this the right thing to do? The fuck, like, I mean, the fuck is, it's crazy if you say somebody should do the right thing. People's first thing is nobody owe you and you shouldn't do it. That's because society.
Celebrity Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, was named in a recently amended civil lawsuit originally filed by Jane Doe in October. The lawsuit claimed that he and fellow rapper Sean Diddy Combs drugged and sexually assaulted a 13-year-old girl at a VMAs afterparty in 2000. Both Carter and Combs have strongly denied the allegations. After about 20 minutes, the lady allegedly arrived to what she thought was a large white residence with a gate and a U-shaped driveway. Jay-Z's lawyer, Alex Spiro, is now pointing out what he claims are inconsistent details in the woman's testimony as stated in the lawsuit. Spiro denies her claim that there is no such place in New York that is 20 minutes from Radio City. Spiro also asserts that this image of
Now, the latest on Jay-Z. The music mogul's attorney fired back at the woman accusing him of sexual assault, raising questions about the events more than 20 years ago. ABC News Live anchor Lindsay Davis here with the story. Good morning, Lindsay.
Hey, good morning to you guys. Jay-Z's attorney is calling it all a sham. He says that some glaring inconsistencies in his accuser's story have come to light, and he claims that they're enough for the case to be dismissed.
Attorneys for rap mogul Jay-Z are doubling down on their defense this morning, calling recent rape allegations a sham.
It's not just that this story is a lie and that it's not true. It's provably, demonstrably false. This never happened.
Jay-Z has strongly denied the allegations against him, including both the recent case and separate legal accusations. In a statement shared through Roc Nation's social media, he expressed heartbreak for his family and criticized those he believes are using his name for profit. However, his accuser, Ryer, is not convinced. Ryer questions Jay-Z's claims of valuing honor and protecting children, calling his silence, in this case, a clear contradiction. Tonight, the accuser's law firm told NBC News that the woman, now a 38-year-old mother from Alabama, is set to take a voluntary polygraph test tomorrow. This comes after an exclusive interview with her revealed inconsistencies in her story. As an alleged sexual assault victim, her identity has been concealed. When asked why she decided to speak up now, she said, "Nobody was going to believe me back then." In response to the allegations and NBC's reporting, Jay-Z's lawyer, Alex Spiro, is urging a judge to dismiss the lawsuit.
Has made it clear that he plans to fight this lawsuit and these allegations until the end. According to his lawyer, Jay-Z is upset that this distracts and dissuades from real victims coming forward. Meanwhile, the attorney for the accuser maintains that she remains adamant about her claim, guys.
All right, Lindsay, thank you for bringing that to us. Appreciate it.
The woman claims that on the evening of the 2000 MTV Video Music Awards, she was driven by Shadady Coles to an after-party at a White House with a U-shaped driveway. There, she allegedly spoke with musician Benji Madden and his brother, asking him about his tattoo, which was the Last Supper. A spokesperson for the Maidens told NBC News that they were on tour in the Midwest at the time and did not attend the 2000 VMAs. She claims that after drinking something that made her woozy, she was raped by both Combs and Carter. She then ran to a petrol station and called her father, who was driving.
Standing by her story. It happened over 20 years ago. Maybe her memory is hazy. Maybe her father doesn't remember that night.
No, she's doubled down on certain of these details. It says, I'm positive no one has come forward about this in nearly a quarter of a century, and that's because this never happened.
The accuser's lawyer says his client remains firm in her claims, emphasizing that she has signed 2 affidavits and is awaiting the results of her scheduled polygraph test. Meanwhile, broader discussions have arisen around Jay-Z's past relationships with younger women. Jay-Z's marriage to Beyoncé, often celebrated as one of the most iconic couples in entertainment, has also drawn some scrutiny over their significant age gap. The two reportedly met when Beyoncé was 18 and Jay-Z was 30, though they didn't begin dating immediately. Their relationship, built on friendship and mutual respect, has been widely admired. However, in light of these allegations, some are reconsidering the power dynamics within such relationships.
Morning, rap mogul Jay-Z is denying allegations he sexually assaulted a 13-year-old girl alongside rapper Sean Diddy Combs. That civil lawsuit filed against Combs in October was amended Sunday to include Jay-Z. The accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, says she was sexually assaulted by both men at a Video Music Awards after-party in 2000. In a blistering statement, Jay-Z accuses Jane Doe's attorney of trying to blackmail him. He said further, quote, "These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree?" He added, "My only heartbreak is for my family. My wife and I will have to sit our children down, one of whom is at the age where her friends will see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and greed of people." Joining us now, Joey Jackson, CNN legal analyst and criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor. There's a lot to unpack here. Joey, I want to start with just the statement from Jay-Z, which is so forceful in its denial. I just read a teeny part of it, it's long, where he says that they should file a criminal complaint. Is that even possible at this point?
So based on the allegations, Jessica, good morning, good to see you. I think that it certainly could be. Why do I say that? Now, he, of course, is more than annoyed, would be an understatement.
Yeah.
He has a family and he has a lot to protect, including his brand. But to the extent that he's saying, hey, come after me criminally, that could be likely. Why do I say that? Because rape in New York, and what's alleged in this complaint, is forcible compulsion. What that means in English is that it's saying that he held her down, raped her, and that, of course, the allegation is that Mr. Combs did the same thing. And so if those facts are actually accurate, it would require an investigation by prosecutors, and if true, right, you could pursue it criminally. Now, with respect to evidentiary value, yes, it happened 24 years ago, right, more than 24 years ago, but in the allegations, there's a few things. Number one, there's allegation that another celebrity was present at the time, right, in addition to other people. Number two, there's the claim by the victim, right, that she left, that she went and she was seen by a gas attendant who saw her in distress. Number three, that she phone called her dad, who showed up, the 13-year-old, and now removed her. So civil complaint, simply allegations, need to be proven in a court of law, but if true, it could rise to the level of criminality, and, you know, we'll see what happens if the DA looks and investigates.
So what happens now?
So what happens now is this is simply a civil complaint, and in a civil complaint, it goes through the technical legal.
Reimer's fight goes beyond proving paternity. It is about seeking justice for his late mother and finding closure for himself. He has accused Jay-Z of avoiding responsibility and not addressing the claims directly. If Mr. Carter values honor and protecting children, as he says, he should step forward with transparency, Reimer stated. His words reflect a broader call for accountability, not just from Jay-Z, but from anyone in positions of power who may feel untouchable.
13-year-old is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, suffered depression, etc. So now you go to fact-finding, right? Before that, just briefly, there was a demand letter sent. And a demand letter is a letter being sent by a lawyer saying, hey, I don't have to sue you. We can sit, we can mediate it. If we reach an agreement, it never sees the light of day. Jay-Z saying, I don't care about your demand letter. I look at it as blackmail. You want to sue me, sue me. You want to look at it criminally, look at it criminally, but it'll go through the fact-finding process. If a trial is necessary to determine the facts, that's what will happen, but it'll be deemed civil. No indication at this point as to whether or not any criminal investigation will ensue as a result of this.
Yeah, and Jay-Z came back incredibly forcefully against these allegations and really singled out that attorney as well for being, I'm paraphrasing here, but greedy, saying he's out to get money, and calling that letter essentially blackmail.
Yeah, and in addition to that, Jessica, also suing the attorney, saying he's intimidating him, harassing him, etc. Now, demand letters are not new. What lawyers do is they send them out as a matter of protocol and practice so that you can expedite the process. At the same time, there's certain ethical standards that you have to use, and you have to have a good faith factual belief that this is true. Now, you can argue this complaint was filed in October, right? Could have mentioned Jay-Z then. You didn't. Why? It was amended now to include him. Are the factual assertions true? Are they fact or fiction? Is it a money grab or not? All of that will be litigated in a court of law, but according to Jay-Z, this never happened, is pure fiction. It is a money grab, and he's fighting for his name, reputation, and certainly innocence and justice in his view, which is he didn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah, and you touch on a point too that I wanted to ask you about, which was that this was an amendment to this already existing lawsuit. What are people to take away from that? The fact that they're coming back and adding to this now with this specific name.
Yeah, you know, Jessica, so it depends. That's also common. You could amend lawsuits, right, as a matter of course, and you do, to include certain factual allegations. The interesting thing to me in terms of your question and the takeaway, if you had this information about Jay-Z, it happened allegedly in September of 2000, why not include it in the original complaint? What happened between October and now that necessitated you putting in, and it's a question of credibility. Was he celebrity A, right, as was noted in the October complaint? Is this pure fiction? And what's interesting in the complaint is he really, that is the lawyer, tries to tie Jay-Z to Mr. Combs in so many ways, right? Birds of a feather is the argument that he's making. You can make that argument. You need the facts to sustain it. Let's see if they come up with any facts.
All right, we will see. All right, Joey.
The legal battle has been ongoing and difficult. Reimer first filed a paternity case in 2010, 2 years after Jay-Z married Beyoncé. Since then, the case has faced numerous delays and complications, with Jay-Z's legal team reportedly using various tactics to avoid a clear resolution. Reimer's persistence is commendable, but the situation also underscores the imbalance of power in cases like this, where individuals often face significant obstacles when challenging those with greater resources and
freedom I see in the album is just a freedom for couples who have gone through something.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing. You know, it's almost a cliche, you know, the celebrity couple, you know, they get together, they break up, you know, I'm like, well, who else are they going to go out with? But for some reason, you took an unprecedented stand to fight for this marriage.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to fight for it and to put it all out there. What is it about this marriage that's so special that you would fight this hard to save it?
Well, it's my soulmate. It's the person I love, you know. And you can be in love with someone. You can love someone and and if you haven't experienced love and you don't understand it and you don't have the tools to move forward, then you're gonna have complications, period. And if you can either address it or you can pretend until it blows up at some point. And you know, for us, we chose to fight for our love, for our family, to give our kids a different outcome. You see, you know, to break that cycle. For black men and women, you know, just to see a different outcome. Like you were saying, it's not this celebrity couple. We were never a celebrity couple. We were a couple who just happened to be celebrities.
That's beautiful.
Like real people.
Yeah. What advice would you have for men who have caused pain in marriages? I mean, it's easy. I mean, somebody like you. I mean,
the best. You know, in our case,
that's a level of strength really on both sides. I mean, if the shoe had been on the other foot, you know, if the transgressions had been on her side, do you think you would be able to be as forgiving of her as she was of you?
I hope. Again, because I love her the same way, no matter no matter what side, I love her the same way. I pray that I will, because her strength and her, man, is the strongest woman I know. Like, her and my mother, they battling for number one.
Beautiful, beautiful. I just want to say to you, you are blazing a trail, for a lot of us to follow. But financially, culturally, the idea of confession could save so much pain and suffering in politics and every place else. I honor you. One of the guys said, just make sure to ask him before he leaves, is he in the Illuminati? And I said, no, I'm not gonna ask that, but are you?
I'm in the new Illuminati.
That's good. Let's give it up for Sean Jay-Z Carter.
For Jay-Z, the stakes are extraordinarily high. His reputation as a music mogul and a devoted family man is at risk. Beyond personal consequences, these allegations could have broader implications for his business ventures, including his billion-dollar partnership with Beyoncé. Public perception plays a critical role, and this story has the potential to leave a lasting mark on his legacy, affecting both his personal and professional life.
2000. The lawsuit was originally filed against Sean Diddy Combs back in October, then refiled on Sunday to add Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter. The plaintiff, identified as Jane Doe, says she was assaulted by both men at a Video Music Awards after party. The artists have denied those accusations. Now, in a statement through his company, Rock Nation, Jay-Z responded to the lawsuit and the lawyer representing the plaintiff, saying, quote, "My lawyer received a blackmail attempt called a demand letter from a lawyer named Tony Busby. What he had calculated was the nature of these allegations and the public scrutiny would make me want to settle. No, sir, it had the opposite effect. It made me want to expose you for the fraud that you are," his words, in a very public fashion. "So no, I will not give you one red penny," end quote. Now, the lawyer, Busby, did not immediately respond for comment on this, but has refuted Carter's accusations of blackmail on social media. Meanwhile, Sean P. Diddy Combs is still in custody in New York, awaiting his trial on federal sex trafficking charges. He tried to secure bail, but was denied several times. CBS News legal contributor Jessica Levinson joins us now to go over this lawsuit. Welcome, Jessica. A lot to talk about here. What can you tell us about the timing of Jay-Z's allegations, since he wasn't named in that initial lawsuit filing?
That's right. Well, we don't know for sure, but in hearing Jay-Z's response, I think one possible scenario is that the attorneys came to him and said, "We'd like X amount of money, and if you don't give it, then we are going to name you in a civil suit." Now, again, we're reading tea leaves here, but it would be reasonable to think that there was some discussions, let's say, behind the scenes. And sometimes what happens is that a celebrity feels like the accusations alone are so harmful that it's worth it for them to say, okay, here's this pot of money. Sometimes they feel like saying, giving over the money and having that potentially be reported will look like they're admitting guilt. Here, what we have is Jay-Z being extremely unequivocal in saying, not me, not it, no way, no how. And in fact, I think we might see a situation where Jay-Z and his attorneys might go after the attorney who filed the case, potentially asking for sanctions, potentially saying that this is a frivolous suit and or that there was no good faith basis to add Jay-Z to this complaint.
Now, given that this is a civil lawsuit, Jessica, what are your thoughts on the plaintiff still going under the name Jane Doe in this lawsuit? If she wants this to continue forward, will we eventually learn her name?
It depends, but there are lots of public policy reasons why, when it comes to a suit like this, when it comes to allegations of sexual assault that were...
Reimer's story also brings up broader questions about the responsibilities of public figures. Should they be held to a higher standard of accountability? Can they truly separate their personal lives from their public personas? These questions extend far beyond the world of hip-hop, touching on universal issues of power, privilege, and responsibility. They challenge society to consider what we expect from those in positions of influence and how we hold them accountable.
We say that you can remain anonymous. Now, again, I wish I could give you a specific answer, but in part it depends on how far this case goes, whether or not we might hear testimony. But I think it is important for people to know that the law does provide protection many times for people filing these types of suits, particularly, again, against very powerful celebrities, because regardless of what you think of this specific case, you can understand there are reasons why we would want to protect people's privacy when it comes to these types of cases.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned this earlier in your first answer, but just a reminder our viewers, Jay-Z filed a lawsuit against the attorney representing the plaintiff. What does his lawsuit allege?
Essentially that this is a frivolous case, that it amounts to extortion, and this is the most forceful way that you can respond to this type of allegation, meaning not just Jay-Z isn't just saying, I am not liable. It's not guilt, it's liability because it's a civil suit, but he's saying, I am the victim of a shakedown and I want to vindicate my rights. And what you can see in these situations is sometimes an attorney could be held in contempt for filing a case or for adding a particular party. Sometimes these are pretty extraordinary circumstances. You can see an attorney that's actually reported to the state bar where they work. But this is part of, I think, the lawsuit, obviously, that Jay-Z filed. It's a lawsuit in and of itself, but it's also the most forceful response you can possibly give.
Any chance that this could turn into a criminal case, given that it happened in 2000?
I don't think so based on the statute of limitations. The suit was filed in, obviously, it's a civil case in federal court under a New York law that provides a so-called look back, meaning that the statute of limitations, there's an exception and it opens up for specific types of allegations for a specific window of time. We saw this in the case that E. Jean Carroll brought against President Trump. There was a look back provision in one of those cases. Similar thing here.
All right, CBS News legal contributor Jessica Levinson. Thanks so much, Jessica.
As this saga continues, one thing remains clear. The truth matters. For Rymir, it's about seeking closure and honoring his late mother's memory. For Jay-Z, it's about defending his name and safeguarding his family. For the public, it's a reminder that beneath the glitz and glamour of celebrity life are real people facing real struggles. This case underscores the complexities of fame, accountability, and the pursuit of justice.
Girl got it all, honey, and Ray J had to go.
Ray got residuals coming in from the Ricky Smiley sitcom.
Yeah,
those residual checks still coming.
Well, they give you like $1 a month, huh?
Probably so. Yeah, that's about it.
Especially if it's shot in Zimbabwe, honey. Yes, so baby. So to make my point, honey.
Zimbabwe.
Yes, but let's keep them lifted, honey. Hopefully that tape don't come out, honey, because I would never want to see that tape again, honey. I'm glad I did have the opportunity to see it, though. So, but it was very interesting.
I feel like that tape was like looped a lot. You know what I'm saying? So if they had more footage and they wouldn't, and they probably could make another one now.
Yeah, it's amazing how black men are used, honey, then thrown out to the wolves, honey. But you know, that's just the way it goes. But anyway, all right, moving on, honey. In other celebrity news, your old Beyonce should feel shame of herself, honey. What she's dealing with Jay-Z, honey. Now it's being reported, y'all, that Jay-Z's alleged secret daughter, y'all, baby, they say this girl's revealed, and they say she living in the hood, honey. Now there's been some rumors out there that Jay-Z has a secret child. Now they said the rumors came and gone for the most part, but now they're saying, honey, that Jay-Z had an offspring, honey, outside of his children with Beyonce, and they're saying, y'all, that one of his former friends, honey, a popular artist by the name of Oshino, dropped a bombshell, y'all. Do we have the audio, y'all, on Oshino? We have the audio on Oshino dropping the bombshell? We're gonna have the audio? Okay, well, they said, honey, he said that his secret daughter, Jay-Z's secret daughter, is living in Cambridge, Maryland. And baby, the people broke down Cambridge, Maryland. I don't know if y'all heard the shocking story. They're saying, y'all, that the crime statistics, honey, on the website Neighborhood Scout in Cambridge, Maryland, is one of the most dangerous cities in the country, with 97% of America being safer, y'all, than this place. And Jay-Z's beautiful daughter is living there. They say he got in a little measly $200,000 home, honey. They say when little Blue Lily and all them other children, honey, living in $100 million house and stuff, and this girl's living in a $200,000 house, and people say it's sad, honey, but they say he helped pay her bills and what have you. But they said, honey, he told her you cannot put any pictures of me up in the house. She can't put pictures of him up in the house.
Why?
Because he don't want people to know that that's his daughter, I guess, honey. So she can't put picture. They said she's 30 years old, honey, but she was born before Jay-Z and Beyonce got together. So
obviously, yeah.
You know, so at least that's the thing. But would y'all want y'all parent to hide you? I mean, it's like Donna Ross with that song,
Keep them safe.
Child. You think so?
Yeah.
Keep them safe.
Yeah, I mean, so.
But he's not really claiming this child, Ricky. She's living in the slums. They say she's living in a hood, a $200,000 house. When with Blue Lily them and Siri.
How old is she?
She's 30.
But that might be a nice house in that area, though. If she in the hood, that might be a decent house.
She's 30.
Yeah, but I mean, she said she probably still want the love of her daddy, and she probably want him to still be there for her.
Did he claim her publicly?
But they say he bought her a house, so he ain't claiming her publicly. She can't put pictures of him up in the house and stuff, but she looked just like him, so you know she cute. So there you have it.
The story of Jay-Z and his alleged secret son is far from over. It's a narrative filled with drama, legal twists, and raw human emotion. Whether the truth ultimately emerges, it stands as a poignant reminder of the complexities of fame and the vital importance of accountability.
She cute. So there you have it. I mean,
a lot of times, man, we realize, man, you have to have her in your life because, man, you get old and you done gave all these doggone entitled children everything, and to be the very ones that you didn't have a relationship with that might have to wipe you or hand you a glass of water.
That's right.
So you have to be real careful and mindful and try to figure out how to develop some kind of relationship. And if she just not somebody to have a good relationship with, sometimes parenting, it don't work.
Yeah.
But put forth the effort to just try to have a relationship, where she can have some closure and feel better about. I don't know. That's sad though. That's unfortunate.
Prayerfully that they get together and stuff. There's actually on the David Yurman necklace, so you probably may have bought that for her. Oh, who said that?
What?
Somebody holler Kahlua in my ear. Oh, Jesus.
Oh.
The Kahlua today, how it is. Oh,
What's wrong with you, man?
I'm like, what the hell? The Kahlua today is one of my favorite Kahlua. The Kahlua today.
That bipolar kicking in.
It's great pumpkin. On the high end, you say great pumpkin. On the low, you say orange and black. That's your Kahlua for today. Yeah, them I ain't saying
it's orange and blue.
Yeah.
Don't worry about my jogging suit. Go to hell, Gary. All three the past 3 days, all the Kahlua today based on what I got on.
Yes, sir.
Go to hell. 14 minutes after the hour. Y'all got your wake-up calls. Call me up right now, 86.
This isn't just about Rymir and Jay-Z. It's about the countless others who have faced similar struggles in silence, whose stories haven't made the headlines. It's about the power of truth and the courage required to pursue it, no matter the odds. And it's about recognizing that even the biggest stars are not immune to the consequences of their actions.